There is a Ferris wheel still standing in the hills of West Virginia. Nobody rides it. The cars hang rusted and still, tilted at angles no maintenance crew ever corrected because no maintenance crew was ever coming back. The swing ride is there too, chains long gone to oxidation, the frame slowly leaning into the earth like a man too tired to stay upright. Vines have taken the ticket booths, the lake has gone dark and still. Whatever this place was, it stopped being that a long time ago. But the rides are still there, and that's the part that gets people, not the history, the rides. A Ferris wheel in the middle of the woods, in a county most of America has never heard of, just standing there like it's waiting for something. This is Lake Shawnee. Mercer County, West Virginia, sits in the southern coal fields, tight valleys, ridgelines, small towns built around extraction. Princeton is the county seat. The communities around it grew up around the mines, company towns, company stores, men who worked underground and came home to families who needed somewhere to go on a Saturday. That's the market Conley T. Snido was looking at in 1926 when he purchased a stretch of land along the Bluestone River and started building an amusement park. He built a Ferris wheel and a circle swing ride. He put in a swimming pond with a water slide, a dance hall, a racetrack, cabins families could rent for a weekend. It wasn't Coney Island. It didn't need to be. For the coal families of Mercer County, it was enough. Somewhere to take the kids in summer, somewhere to let things be light for a few hours. By the 1940s, the park was drawing crowds that filled the grounds. It had become a real fixture of the county, a place people remembered from childhood and brought their own children back to. That is the version of Lake Shawnee that most visitors from that era carry, the summer version, the light version. But Conley Snido did not know what was underneath the land he bought, and the land had a longer memory than he did. Before Snido, before the park, before any of what came later, the ground itself has a story that starts much further back. Archaeologists from Marshall University and Concord College excavated the site in 1988, a formal dig of what they called the Snido site, catalog number 46MC1. What they found wasn't a Shawnee burial ground in the way the ghost tour version tells it. The settlement dated to the Late Prehistoric period, Fort Ancient Culture, roughly 1000 to 1690 AD. Two distinct village circles, over 25,000 artifacts recovered, pottery shards, tools, beads, the material record of a people who lived here across generations. 13 skeletons were recovered, most of them children. The popular version of this story inflates that number to 3,000, a figure that appears in paranormal marketing and has been repeated so many times it has taken on the weight of fact. The archaeological record does not support it. 13, mostly children, that is what the ground gave back. It was a settlement, not a massacre site, a community that lived here and then was gone. The gap between what the dig actually found and what the tour narration claims is itself part of this story, the way a place absorbs legend until the legend becomes the history. Then comes 1783. Mitchell Clay and his wife Phoebe had settled on this same land in 1775, the first white settlers in Mercer County. They farmed it, built on it, raised their children on it. In the summer of 1783, while the men were away, a raiding party attacked the Clay homestead. Tabitha and Bartley Clay were killed. Ezekiel one of the sons, was captured. He was taken to Chillicothe and burned at the stake. The survivors fled. Clay returned to find what had happened to his family, and by most accounts, he pursued the raiding party with other settlers and killed several of them. The retaliation is part of the recorded history of Mercer County, though the specific name some sources attach to it is not consistently verified in the stronger historical accounts. What is documented is the loss itself: 3 children dead or gone from one family on the same ground where a prehistoric settlement had stood, where an amusement park would eventually stand. The land kept accumulating its weight, and the next man to build on it had no idea any of it was there. Most of these stories don't get told twice. If this channel disappears from your feed, the algorithm won't bring it back. Subscribe so the next one finds you. The deaths at the park itself are harder to pin down than the ghost tour version suggests. What is documented, at least 2 drowning deaths occurred in the swimming pond over the park's operating years. And then there is the girl on the swing, the circle swing ride, the kind that rotates outward as it spins, was one of the park's main attractions. At some point in the park's later years, a delivery truck backed into the path of the rotating swing while a young girl was riding it. She was killed. That death is documented. Her name has not been reliably recorded in the historical sources. The year is disputed. Some accounts say the early 1950s, others point to 1966, but the date has not been confirmed in period newspaper archives that have surfaced publicly. What is consistent across accounts is the nature of it. The ordinary danger of an ordinary afternoon, a truck making an ordinary mistake, and then the kind of thing that doesn't leave a place alone. The park closed in the mid-1960s. The reasons given vary: declining attendance, inspection problems, the weight of the accidents themselves, probably all of it together. The rides were left standing. Nobody came to dismantle them. The woods started moving in. Gaylord White bought the property in 1985. His plan was a residential subdivision: clear the old park, sell the lots, move on. Construction crews started breaking ground and found the remains from the 1988 archaeological dig. 13 skeletons, mostly children, the artifacts of the Fort Ancient settlement. White stopped the subdivision. He didn't build on the graves. Instead, he reopened the park for a short period, a few years, closed again, the cost of operating an aging ruin proving more than the venture could carry. What he had, though, was something that turned out to have its own value: a rusting Ferris wheel, a swing frame without its swings, a dark lake, a documented history of violence on the land going back 2 centuries. The paranormal television circuit found it. Travel Channel, Discovery Channel, History Channel, shows that trade in atmosphere and suggestion. The haunting claims that attach to the park in this era follow a familiar grammar: the girl in the pink dress, the drowned boy who walks, the swings that move without wind, the sound of native chanting in the dark. Those claims belong to the tourism layer of this story, not to the documented record, but they are now inseparable from the place. Gaylord White II runs it today. Dark Carnival every October. Tours by arrangement year-round. The Ferris wheel is still there. Here is what Lake Shawnee actually is, stripped of the ghost tour overlay. It is a piece of ground in the southern West Virginia hills that has been, in sequence, a late prehistoric indigenous settlement, a frontier farm where a family was torn apart, an amusement park where children drowned and a girl died on a swing, an archaeological site where the past literally surfaced when someone tried to build over it, and now a ruin that people pay to walk through in the dark. Each layer is real. None of them needed embellishment. The 3,000 bodies are not there, 13 are. The swing death year is not confirmed, but the death is. The haunting claims are a commercial product, but the history underneath them is genuinely heavy enough to carry the place without them. What the White family understood, maybe better than they knew, is that you don't need to invent tragedy for Lake Shawnee. You just need to stand still and let the land speak. The Ferris wheel rusts. The chains are gone from the swing frame. The lake reflects whatever sky is above it. The stories America left behind have a way of staying in the ground. Sooner or later, someone always finds them. That's another voice from the hollow. If this one stayed with you, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, The Stories America Left Behind.